AI is writing more and more code every day. So here's the real question. Will it replace developers or just upgrade what it means to be one? Hey everyone, I'm Dan, a developer who just 2 years ago was laughing at AI, but now I'm using it in everything I do. Today we're diving into what's happening with AI in development and whether the shift is a once-in-a-lifetime upgrade or just the beginning of the end for how we work. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard someone say AI is going to replace developers? And do you actually believe that's already happening? In reality, AI isn't replacing us, it's just pushing us to evolve. It's not kicking us out of the equation, it's just moving the problem. And today I'll show you exactly how. But first, let me tell you how I went from skeptic to full-on dependent. 3 years ago, I was just curious. Let me try ChatGPT and see if it can actually write code. At first, it kinda worked. Sometimes it gave me usable stuff, but most of the time it felt like code written by someone who's never touched a real project. But I kept testing it, I challenged it, and as the tools improved, I started giving it real tasks. Now my daily workflow runs on AI. In IntelliJ, I use JetBrains AI assistant for code completions, refactoring, and questions. And recently, I started using Junie, another tool from JetBrains that's actually smarter than you think. Are they perfect? Not even close, but they get the job done and fast. And with how quick this is moving, who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks, they will be perfect. Tasks that used to take me until late evening are now done by lunchtime. So yeah, I'm already 2-3 times more productive. But hey, don't just take my word for it. I'm not the only dev who thinks AI isn't the end of programming. Let's look at what some people who run global dev teams are saying. People who have every reason to stay ahead of the curve. Mark Zuckerberg is saying, in 12-18 months, most code will be written by AI. Hassabis, AI won't replace developers, but it will change what being a good developer means. Jensen Huang is saying that software programming will become prompt engineering. Yeah, it's uncomfortable to see that your job is changing. But these people don't do motivational speeches, they run teams and they hit deadlines. And they're kind of saying the same thing. A great dev is not just the fastest coder, it's the one who knows how to collaborate with AI. Remember what ChatGPT used to be like back when it launched in 2022? It wrote vague paragraphs, it struggled with real code, and if you asked something specific, it politely apologized. Then ChatGPT 4 came in 2023 and it completely changed how we use it. We were suddenly brainstorming with it, writing test cases and actual code. But then in 2024, when GPT-4o launched, AI wasn't just a chatbot anymore. It could see, it could hear, and it could write code while you talked. You dropped a screenshot of a bug, it explained it. And now it's 2025. In under 3 years, we went from what even is prompt engineering to, hey AI, write me a clean PR with test cases and documentation. Right now, AI can understand the entire context of your app, not just the current file, generate complete pull requests, and write code that passes code review. Not just syntax-wise, but also logically and structurally. And if that's what it can do today, imagine what it will be able to do by the end of this year. So here's the real question I know you are thinking. If AI is already writing good code, why do we still have jobs? The answer is simple. Because our job was never just about writing code. The real job of a developer is to understand complex business problems, to think in solutions, not just syntax, to collaborate with teams, to integrate with systems that were never meant to work together, and to ship real production-ready products, not just ones that work on your local machine. And even if AI writes 90% of the code, you'd still need an engineer to guide it and someone who understands the picture end to end. Here's how I think dev roles will evolve. Solution architect that blends real people with AI, with real architectures, and with business logic. System designer. It defines how a system works and AI just implements it. Prompt engineer who doesn't write code anymore but describes what it should do. AI automation integrator who connects AIs with APIs, with databases, and with all kinds of solutions. And yeah, maybe even AI code reviewer, who doesn't write every line but ensures that the code is high quality. Okay, but what about juniors? They'll have to learn completely different from how we did. They won't start with syntax drills, They'll be able to code in any programming language. They'll start with AI with a 24/7 expert next to them who explains things, fixes mistakes, and even shows examples. And honestly, that's amazing. Because instead of wasting 2 years on Stack Overflow trying to understand how to build a DTO, they'll focus on where to put it in the code and why they're doing it. And yes, the line between a senior and a junior will blur, because they'll both have the same superpowers at their fingertips. If juniors start with AI first, they're probably gonna learn faster than we ever did. But the catch is that AI is powerful, but only when you guide it right. Let's look at a few common issues that it still has. So the biggest one is hallucination. It sounds confident even when it's making stuff up. Fake methods, libraries that don't exist, confident nonsense. So always verify, use clear prompts, and don't trust blindly. Okay, the second one is that it has limited context. AI sees only what you give it, usually just the current file or the context of the chat you're in. If you want accurate help, you need to share real context. And that's why prompt engineering matters. Be specific. Okay, the third problem it has is that it loops. So basically, it gives you a solution that has a problem, you fix that problem and encounter a new one, and when you try to fix this one, it will go back to the first one and then back to the second one, so it enters a loop. It does not learn anything from that chat, so the only solution you have is to close the chat session and start a new one and give it fresh context. Outdated code. Most of the AI tools available don't search for updates. So basically, because it only uses the data it was trained on. Some of the new solutions are doing that, but you have to specify that you want it to search, because it doesn't always do that. It will suggest old libraries, outdated APIs. So yeah, AI is strong, but only if you are in the driver's seat. Okay, let me walk you through the tools I use daily. Since I work mostly with Java, I've been looking for tools that integrate well with JetBrains. But just to be clear, there are great options available for every language and stack. The first tool I use is AI Assistant. It's a chatbot integrated directly in IntelliJ. It completes code, it suggests refactors, and you can ask it anything just like ChatGPT but with more context. The second tool I use is Junie. This is also built right into IntelliJ, and it's even more powerful than AI Assistant. It reads your entire project, it searches in real time for stuff that it thinks will be useful for what it's doing. You can give it a task and it takes it from start to finish. So you'll just have to code review that and learn how to give it context. You can also say things like run the payment tests, and if they fail, then it will fix them and then run them again until they pass. And the best part is that it has a lot of context, so when you tell it to do a task, it starts to search through the whole project and find how you did other things, and then it will keep the same structure and same patterns you used. If you're not in the JetBrains ecosystem, you can check out GitHub's Copilot or even Cursor. Let me leave you with one simple idea. AI won't take your job, but a developer who knows how to use it might. But I also have some good news for you. Most companies move way slower than this tech. So we got a head start, and it's up to us how far we run with it. If this helped, hit subscribe, because in the next video I'll help you go from idea to tasks in just one workflow. You'll want to see that. See you next time.